Hello, everyone. It's me, Alison. The show is about to start, but just real fast, a quick reminder. I want to tell you guys, if you are doing some shopping, perhaps some Black Friday shopping, holiday shopping, etc.
Like Christmas type shopping?
Christmas type, any sort of shopping at all. I have put together some lists on Amazon.
Lists with things
stuff
on them?
Daniel, just pipe down for 1 second. Beauty stuff, makeup stuff, home stuff, kids stuff, podcast equipment, books I recommend, all of this stuff. And
Daniel's stuff?
Oh yeah, Daniel's Corner, where I put stuff that I know that he likes. But Daniel has recently gotten way more involved, and he put together a special Christmas spectacular gift guide for you.
You guys will not even believe it. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what's on there, but it's literally some things.
Lots of things. And a whole big caption explaining his process.
If you know someone who's exactly like me, they are going to love it.
And here's where you go to see all of this. Amazon.com/shop/Alison Rosen. Amazon.com/shop/Alison Rosen.
And we'll be adding to it.
It's nonstop, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the show.
Bye.
You guys, I lied. I said the show was starting right now, but I have one more quick announcement. I'm co-hosting a new podcast. It's brand new. It's called Upworthy Weekly. I'm co-hosting it with a guy named Todd Perry, who I'm having so much fun with, although he is wrong about so many things, especially Christmas music, but also other stuff. But anyway, Upworthy Weekly, we come out on Saturdays. Please give it a listen. Subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, leave us a comment, a review on Apple Podcasts. That helps out the show so much, especially because we are brand new. As I've said, between 1 and 4 times right now, I've lost track. But anyway, please give it a listen. It's a lighthearted news podcast. We're taking a look at the most popular and engaging stories from the week before that ran on Upworthy. And it's just what your holidays need. And then when we're past the holidays, it's just what that part of the year needs. It's just exactly what you need. Please listen to it. Upworthy Weekly, new episodes every Saturday, wherever you get your podcasts.
And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Alison welcomes a guest. He's a writer and director, but mostly he's Canadian. It's Rob Cohen. And she's a comedian and actress known to casting directors as Or We Could Go Another Way. It's Arden Myrin. Chef Jeff is here to invade Ukraine if Russia won't freaking do it. And Tone Zone is here to begin hibernating until the next Star Wars show begins. I'm her husband Daniel, saying hop on board the Love Bus and say hello to your new best friend, Alison Rosen.
Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little clam cakes. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend, that particular carbohydrate. And it was selected because it is a Rhode Island favorite, which relates to one of our guests, was sent in on Patreon by Tracy Metcalf. Yes, I am on Patreon. All sorts of fun bonuses and rewards. There's episodes of The Friend Zone. That's my bonus Patreon podcast. There's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. You can submit carbohydrates. You can submit questions for the guests. We do Zoom parties, and you can see the video of the Thursday show videos, what we're recording right now, and more fun stuff. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. And if you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. So it is 12 months for the price of 10. I'm very excited to welcome to the show all of my guests. Please put your hands together. Arden, Myrin, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I know you have not been feeling well, so we will get into all that. And also, I don't think I've talked to you since I decided, but I've since undecided. But for a while, I was like, I'm moving to Rhode Island. That's it.
Oh, you still should. It's the greatest state in the world.
I need to redecide. And also, first-time guest, bringing the razzle and dazzle, as he said earlier, it's Rob Cohen. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to have you here. So
Rob's been to Rhode Island. He's been to Rhode Island.
Yeah, you have to go. You should get out of this city and get to Rhode Island. It's
should
the
I move
greatest.
to Providence? I was told I should. No. Okay, I'm getting a no. Where should I move?
Arden
Where
is
should
the
I go?
mayor of Rhode Island. So what do you think?
mean, Providence is great. You can get a beautiful Victorian house. Like, yeah, move to Providence, and then you can go get like a weekend. We can go, Airbnb some weekend places.
Well, I think I want to move to Little Compton, I guess. It's probably like wherever you're
It's
posting
very
from.
rural. It's very rural. So if you can deal with rural in March, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if because I grew up there year round. So it's like a lot of people are thinking like Memorial Day to Labor Day. So I would say maybe move to Bristol. It's somewhere in between Little Compton and Providence. It's got some blocks and stoplights, whereas Little Compton just has a general store and a coffee shop and a barn.
But that sounds, did you say in a bar or in a barn?
Barn. It's in a barn. There's no bar.
Oh my God, that sounds so cute. I love little country stores and whatnot. I mean, I get that you run out of... I haven't left my house in a long time. I think this would be
I love
dynamic.
it there. That's where I was born and bred. I absolutely love it. And I could happily move back. But some people, like 12 full months a year, you might want to ease in by maybe starting in between Providence and Little Compton and starting with like a Bristol. It's a seaside town. You actually have some restaurants, things like that.
I am so moving there. I've
you should.
redecided. Also joining us today, someone you know and love. It's Tony Thaxton. Hello.
Hello. Here on, are we going to behind the curtain here?
That it's Valentine's Day?
Yes. Well, I'm here on what was my day off.
That's right.
Oh.
I know.
Thank you.
You know how Tony likes to spend his day off? Filling in as a guest.
Yay,
So
Tony.
I think, a lot of people fill their days off with recreation. And for you, this is recreation because you're not in the producer seat. You're in the guest seat. What a thrill.
Yeah.
It's also how you get to spend your Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That's right. Just exactly how a single guy wants to spend it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Allison, are you really thinking about moving to Rhode Island?
Well, I have a husband and 2 kids who I don't know would be, and a dog who she's game for whatever, who I don't
Right.
know if they would be on board for it. But during the pandemic, like a lot of people, I was like, why am I here? I definitely don't love the Southern California weather. I'm doing everything on Zoom. I really wanted to get back to the East Coast. And then watching Arden's Instagram feed convinced me because every
great.
single photo was so beautiful.
It is great. I'm telling you, it is. I'm not underselling it. I'm just telling you so you don't go and then have a dark night of the soul.
Right.
Go to Bristol.
Yeah.
And then go take day trips or get an Airbnb in Little Compton for the weekend.
There was a while where I was like, we just need to go vacation there just so I can get this out of my system and like see if it's right for me.
Yeah, I mean, moving there is a large. It's like moving
Sight
somewhere that.
unseen.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of like I'm going to move to Ireland, like up an island off the coast of Ireland. Like it's
that is
rural. It's very
also
rural. It's like stone walls and fields and like it is rural.
And
But-
also, yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the plus side of having been to Arden's hometown is if you can get a place in that area, psychologically, I think you will feel so much happier when you're in Southern California because I share your thinking. But Little Compton is so magical. It's such an incredible place that if you can go there part-time even to start, or that the place is there, I would go there easily for a few months a year.
I have to be honest with you. Anybody that's in Little Compton right now is so angry at the two of us, Rob, right now because they don't want anybody to go.
Of course, because
They're
it's amazing.
so mad. Every time an article is written about, like, I would think most towns every few years were picked by like the New York Times or like whatever, like the best small coastal things you don't know about or whatever, like travel leisure. And most towns would be delighted that they were chosen as the hidden gem. They are enraged. They do not want to be found because they've just been doing their thing for like 400 years.
Of course.
The fact that they don't want me makes me want them
they don't
more.
They don't want any of us. They don't even want me anymore. Like they don't want any of us. They want none of us. They'll be nice, but they're like, they'd rather just like plant corn, do their thing, go out and maybe catch some fish. they don't want the people are coming to take Instagram pictures. They don't give a shit about that. Like they just are like, they've been cute forever. And now people know they're cute. And they're like, I'm not trying to be cute. This is my grandfather's old farmhouse. Like
Right.
I'm just trying to till the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. And also joining us today is Jeff Fox. Hello.
Yay.
Speaking of being cute forever and not trying to be cute, hi, how's it going? I'm excited to be here and doing the sound effects. Tony can just relax and I'll just take care of everything.
Excuse me.
Wow.
It does feel nice. I'm gonna say.
Oh, boy.
Tony, oh my God.
Jeff sent me a cat calendar. Jeff made a cat calendar.
I also
Beautiful.
received the cat calendar. It was the cutest.
Oh my God,
Every
it was the
month
cutest.
was my favorite.
That cat. Wow.
Jeff,
He's actually going up on Instagram today, in theory.
his debut. What's his theoretical name on
I
Instagram?
apologize to everyone whose texts I have not returned because my cat apparently got a hold of my phone, changed the password, started an Instagram for himself, and he's going to be Big Louie the Cat on Instagram and Twitter.
That's
Oh my
exciting.
I'm going to be
he's-
following him immediately. These are my
Yeah.
immediate plans. I'm moving to Bristol, and
Bristol.
I'm following Jeff's cat's account. Now,
Yeah.
Jeff and Tony, you guys have been pretty quiet. Jeff, you were quiet, I know, because I did not introduce you, and Tony well knows that's just one of my things. I forget to introduce the producer
Yeah, I'm glad
for a
I'm
long
glad to
time.
see that it's not just me. I guess it's just whoever is producing that. day.
Yeah, don't take it personally.
But do you guys think I should move to Rhode Island as well?
I would love to do something like that, whether it's New Jersey or Rhode Island. I spent a lot of time on Long Beach Island, New Jersey growing up and in my 20s. And at the time, you couldn't really be a full-timer there. It was just like Arden said, they turn off the traffic lights off season and it was really far from everything. But now with the internets, I feel like I could be a full-timer at some small coastal town.
Massachusetts has a lot of great towns.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of options.
What's the dark side? And without now at risk of offending a lot of people, which whatever. Like, what's the dark side of these small little towns?
Well, I think in the winter it can be quite ice. I mean, it gets dark early. A lot of people that it's hard living. Like I think it's icy. A lot of the people that live there actually are farmers, so like they go to bed pretty early because they have cows and things. So it is fairly. It can be isolating in the winter, I think. So it depends how much human interaction you need year round.
Turns out not much.
Okay. I mean, Ashley, I, and Jared live in Rhode Island from The Bachelor. They moved there.
Oh.
They just had their baby.
We'll get them on the show.
I think there's a way to do it where I think you would get the benefits, but still feel like yourself. I think in more of a Bristol. It's literally like moving to an island, like a somewhat isolated island. If you move to where I grew up, it's very like there's no stoplights. It's just like crickets, and it's very quiet.
Well, how old are
Dirt
your
road.
kids, Alison?
They are 5 and 3. 5
So-
and almost 3.
It's a nice place to raise kids.
Yeah, and is your husband's job require you guys to stay in LA?
Well, theoretically, except that it seems like they're not going to be making them come back to the office anytime soon. And I know this because they gave all of them an office chair budget. Feel free to get yourself a nice office chair. And I said,
Wow.
that means we're staying. That means we could buy it at the Rhode Island home goods store.
Well, I love. Oh my God, they've got great home goods there.
So what if
They have
you?
so many home goods.
Why don't you go rent a place? Are your kids back in school physically?
Yes, but it's preschool.
Oh,
Why
so
don't you
just
go
go
to
rent a place.
Yeah.
Go for summer. Go
Yeah.
try June somewhere. It won't be quite as expensive as July.
Done. Tony,
See, I think
what say
that you talk about not liking the Southern California weather. I think, though, and I know you used to live in New York,
Thank
so
you.
you have some East
Thank
Coast
you.
experience.
That's right.
But being away from it for so long is very easy to forget that
Yeah.
weather. Because
Yep.
not just the winter that Arden was talking about, those summers can be so fucking disgustingly humid.
Yeah.
But if you're
And-
in Rhode Island, you're by the beach.
Yes.
Bam. And you know me, I don't feel like myself unless I'm in a bikini.
I got to tell you, I also don't like the Southern California weather. And you're not alone because I know it's an unpopular thing to say.
Yes, it is.
I also don't like it. It's
Yeah.
too
I
much
agree.
for me. It's assaulting.
It has been like in the 80s. It was
Ugh,
90, especially Burbank is
awful.
especially hot. So I do this other podcast, Upwardly Weekly, and we rate our week. And my co-host Todd Perry he didn't have the best week, but the upside of his week was how warm the weather's been. And I'm like, that's insane to me.
Yeah,
Agreed.
you could be in the snow right now, though.
But it
I
should
like
be.
that. That's
prefer that.
appealing to me. I
It's
like
February.
I hate
Yeah,
it.
it
I
should.
hate it.
I'm with Rob and
Exactly.
Alison.
Yeah, I will say
Exactly.
this, and I know this isn't going to win me any Southern California Auto Club awards or anything, but the weather in LA is horrific.
Agree.
It's overly lit constantly. There's rarely any clouds in the sky, and when
Agree.
it's a 90-degree Halloween or Christmas or February, it's suicide adjacent because it's unnatural, but it shouldn't be this bright and sunny all year round. And there's a reason you have seasons. So I'm all for getting out of here and going someplace where there's seasons.
I've had some
Does-
dark nights of the soul because of the sun here.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Does the Auto Club give out awards?
They do.
Just to Rob. Just to
Yeah,
Rob.
they actually. You can't see my closet, but it is packed with them. I have to get rid of them, but
Yeah.
they.
So many.
It's the worst city for weather. You lose track of time.
Yeah.
That's why there's all these people meandering around Venice Beach that got here when they were 10 and now they're 80 with a back tattoo. They don't know what happened.
That and I remember when I first moved here, and I moved here. I was lucky enough to move here with a job, and I was like, okay, I gotta get a place. And I went to the Beverly Center, and it was like Tuesday at like noon, and it was packed. And I remember thinking, is there a sale? Like, what is happening? And then I realized, no, that's just Los Angeles. And then I'm like, where does everybody get their money from? And why does nobody seem to have jobs? And that's been my experience ever since. Can't figure it out.
Agreed.
Can't figure it out. Everybody in New York had a day job.
Okay, so a lot of important things to get to. First of all, as hinted at before, or perhaps just said out loud, today is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I've been happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Thank you,
Happy
lovers.
Valentine's Day.
I have been surprised at how many couples are posting Valentine's to their partner on Instagram today.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to shit on people who are I am in a marriage. I'm not trying to shit on people who are in relationships, but I just feel like it strikes me as a new thing. I'm sure it's not. I just haven't noticed it every year. But to me, it's like, do people always post their significant other on Valentine's Day? When did this start?
I think they have, and that has never been me. I have to say, I think people love getting credit for being in a relationship on Instagram. And I think they also fear that if they don't do it, that their spouse is going to be mad, that they need to publicly declare it. I think this has been going on forever.
I guess because I get that on birthdays. I just didn't know we were also doing it on Valentine's Day.
I think people do because I've never been that person, and then I've always felt like, am I supposed to be that person? Because I just growing up in Rhode Island, that feels like you don't do that. You just
It's
keep
very
it
braggy.
under wrap. It feels
Yeah.
braggy. I feel like you just keep it under wraps. You don't want to jinx it, you know?
right.
It feels like the virtual equivalent of sending your significant other flowers at work so that
Yes.
other people see
Yes.
that they are getting flowers.
yes.
I mean, this is my first year dating Taylor Swift, so she's all about Instagram. Yeah, so if she
Yeah.
wants to be public, that's what she does. So
Yeah, sure. She loves it.
yeah, relationships are give and take. So this isn't a hill I'm gonna die on with her.
Right.
I'll let her have it.
Rob is very private. Rob's a private guy.
I don't understand any of that stuff, and it's also I'm still baffled when somebody posts a photo of their meal because I don't understand what's the win. Like you're congratulated for having calories, or you went someplace, but
Yeah.
the meal already happened. So I don't get any of that. But especially something that's so personal, it gives me the chills because it's so emotive, which I think is uncomfortable.
But Rob, you host a podcast all
Yep.
about bad dates
Sure.
called the Bad Dates Podcast, which
Yep.
Jeff produces, which Arden has been on.
Yes.
That's pretty personal and emotive, don't you think?
It is, but the whole
You didn't know you were going to get grilled. You thought you were just coming here to have a good time.
No,
yeah,
no.
Rob.
I love being uncomfortable. And the whole purpose of that was just because so many people I know, and myself included, have had these crazy stories for so long that it felt like in the middle of COVID, why not see if this thing worked as a podcast? And, Arden has amazing stories, and great friends of ours like Dana Gould and other people just all have crazy stories. I'd known Arden and Dana's, but other people that have come on had incredible stories. And then there were a few select weird ones I had. So it just felt like a conversation pit for people to talk about stuff that everybody could relate to as far as terrible dates.
And
Got
Rob
it.
has the craziest stories. Rob is a crazy magnet. I don't know
Yes.
what force field is going around him, but he is a crazy magnet. He's not crazy, but he's a magnet for crazy people.
Thank you.
I knew Rob when he was single, and I've seen it in action. I have seen crazy drawn to Rob
Yes.
like a lightning rod. Just
Thank you.
crazy loves Rob.
But
Yes.
do you love crazy?
He must.
You know, I would say my honest answer is there's when I was younger and my crazy radar didn't function as well, I found it exciting, but then I would realize there's different levels of crazy. So when I would hit maximum crazy, that would be too crazy. And then there's other times like, oh, this is fun. It's not going to be long term. And Arden has certainly witnessed a lot of those experiences. But I would say, to the person's credit, they were always a nice person and just had an interest. It was just very intriguing. But then there would be a point where it was time to save my life.
God.
We all dated crazy probably at
Sure.
some point in time, right? Alison, you probably
I
dated
only
something.
dated crazy for
Yeah.
the longest time.
It's more
Yeah.
fun.
It's more
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
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 What's the appeal? Like, Arden, what do you think it is about Rob that draws crazy people into his
What's the
orbit?
appeal of Rob's to the crazy? Well, he's funny. I think I don't know why I picture a woman slightly on pills. Rob is really tall. He's really funny. He's nice, and he's a very curious person. So it's fun to travel with Rob because wherever you go, he's sincerely one of the most curious people I've ever met. So he'll probably engage with crazy a little bit. And then he has such a unique sense of humor that all of a sudden crazy's like, wait, what? This tall drink of water, who? And then locked and loaded, game on,
That's accurate.
He's like this tall, cute, really funny, curious. So he lures them in with a few questions, gets a couple punchlines, and then that coupled with a couple of rosé all day or a couple of pills, there you go.
I would say, first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I won't say any names. Arden, you could probably guess, but there have been times when the crazy's been at such an extreme level. However, the person's genuine, interesting, charming personality and positive qualities were also at an extreme level. So it was like this snare that I at times was thrilled to be entering, but also the back of my head, I knew that I would end up suffocated in a field. And but
I only had to dig you out of a field once.
I know, but dirt was just like I couldn't breathe, and it was like I think I'm going to die in this field.
She was so small, but she really got you under there.
I know, she was really bony. It's like, why don't I just punch her and she'll be out? I think it's also just being a naive young idiot, and also coming from a place besides LA, you find some elements when you're in Los Angeles, whether it's showbiz related or not, to be so interesting that you almost want to explore it a bit more than you should.
See, that was my thing always. There are people who see the handwriting on the wall and they're like, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that say? What
Yeah.
else is going to get written on? I would always need to stay in situations far longer than other people. And I think I had some rationalization in my mind of well, I don't want to judge the person. In fact, I remember my very first therapist. I said, because I was talking about the reason I started going to therapy was because I was in this relationshipy kind of. I was obsessed with it. I didn't see it this way, but the person who recommended I talk to someone about it saw it this way. I was obsessed with this guy who wasn't that into me. but was into me enough to keep me, into him for years. And I remember sort of explaining the situation to the first therapist I ever saw. And then I said something like, blah, like, well, he doesn't have his driver's license and his blah, blah, blah. But, I don't want to judge. And she was like, why not? That's like one of our, the best defenses was not the word she had, but like our, sort of a really strong tool that we have. So I had all these things propped up to explain why I wasn't saying like, you know what, I don't think this is for me. But really, it's just that I was fascinated by the situation. I was chasing the attention that had been there at one point. And I was intrigued. And I was like kind of bored in my regular life, I think.
Yeah, this is just my opinion. And again, one of the reasons when I was first discussing with Jeff about the podcast is there's a reason that I'm fascinated why people stay on the date. Like there's sort of the social obligation where like this person's met me at a restaurant, I need to see it through. But when you hit landmines so early on in the evening, why do people stay? And there's one date that I went on where, to the girl's credit, we had just sat down and she immediately told me within a year she wanted to be a mom and married. And I stayed like an idiot because I didn't want that. I didn't want to be a mom and married. But
she wanted it for you?
No, but
she
I stayed.
You to be a mom.
And like an idiot, we ended up going out for 6 months because she was very clear with what she wanted. And that ended up breaking us up because she wanted what she wanted. But I was like, okay, I know you're saying that, but what's really going on?
I think that people, can't date. There are no fixer-uppers. People let you know who they are. And you cannot date potential. You cannot date like, oh, they'd only be so great if blah, blah, blah. Like,
yes.
I do think part of Rob's appeal, too, was Rob did not want to commit.
Absolutely.
And I think the women of Los Angeles saw that as a challenge. It's like, but does he really not want to commit?
Yeah, I have a question about that because I did tons of times I did what you did in the reverse, where I was like, he's saying he doesn't want anything, but he keeps calling me and he seems so happy to see me. So I'm going to go by the vibe for, and this was like before anyone had recommended that book, He's Just Not That Into You. And I think before I'd seen that episode of Sex and the City, when everything really clicked into place. But this was either these kind of conversations weren't happening in culture as much, or I just wasn't privy to them. So I didn't realize how kind of by the book my behavior and the guy's behavior was. But anyway, when you would say to someone, I don't want a commitment.
Right.
What was it that you were actually looking for at that time?
Well, as a young, stupid male, most of the times it was companionship, or you want to have a good time, or you really found the person interesting. But I could never see myself in any capacity meeting somebody and being like, yep, that's the person I'm going to marry. And so this is all just the runway up to the wedding. I would rather have baby steps where it's like, let's see if we enjoy ourselves on the second date, or let's see, are you good to travel with? So because I'm basically a robot, I would apply Vulcan logic to all of it. And it would be like, let's view this scientifically as opposed to emotionally. And I think Arden's right. There'd be people that would be confused. And it's like, oh, interesting. I feel like he's rejecting me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I want also to say, on behalf of these gals.
Oh, my God.
Here's the problem. In defense of these women.
Yeah.
Rob, because I've traveled with Rob in some of these. Rob is now married. Rob was a great boyfriend. He was attentive and sweet, and he was always up front. He was never saying he was never saying I want to get married, I want to move it. He was never saying that. But his actions, he was such a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
That I
would be like, he doesn't know what he wants.
I could see how these poor gals would just be like, what is happening? I would watch again and again, and he was a great boyfriend.
Yeah, but why can't people be, first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know what I'm thanking you for, but thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I would say there was so many I was very fortunate to be able to meet and go out with some very interesting people and creative people. And they were really interesting. So it was, maybe I was bad at communicating, but I genuinely found them and their personalities and the whole package intriguing. But I like to learn it the same way. It's like if I'm having a meal, I will just take it slow and incrementally. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of them probably said what you just said, Alison, which is, but what's really going on? Like, why is he being so nice to me, yet he's saying this? So if that was
right, because
confusing.
I think for most, and I'm making a gross generalization here, but for most women, I think you wouldn't get that invested with someone if you knew this has a definite like end in sight. I mean, there were guys where I knew like this is not the kind of person I would ever want to end up with, but I'm having a fun time now. And that's what I would say. But really, I was like all in. Yeah,
but it's, again, I think it's different generally speaking for guys and certainly younger guys. And I really was genuinely trying to establish some sort of career in a very unstable environment. So to me, the focus was more on that than settling down. And because that wasn't a priority, I think that.
But you were like 40.
No, I waited as long as I possibly could. But it was also just it was never a driving force with me. And so
that makes sense.
There, again, like the girl that I mentioned, she's married, she's got kids, incredibly successful, but she just laid it out there when we sat down. And so I thought that was great because she saved all this time. So I didn't understand why people were confused by my message, which I think was pretty clear.
He was upfront. I will say he was upfront. So I mean, Rob was very clear.
Painfully
he
clear.
was very clear, and he was a great boyfriend. So I could see that if you were a woman who wanted to get married and you got this great boyfriend who's very upfront, I could see how this. I could see how it would have been crazy making.
There's a conflicting message of Rob's. There's no place for emotion in relationships, straightforwardness, but then covered with his pastiche of Canadian politeness.
He was sweet. He's a nice guy.
Canadian politeness comes off as like Peter Niven, it's like wildly charming that he didn't throw a drink in my face.
Well, he's sweet. He's sweet and funny. He's kind. He's attentive. He's great. He's got a cool career. He's got an awesome house. Like he's fun. His friends are fun. Like
it's so funny that what Rob is saying. Tony, I'm curious if you agree. Like,
I know that Rob is in hell right now.
Rob is dying that he's the center of it.
Rob is in hell right now.
What he's saying perfectly makes sense, or what he was saying. Like, this is not my focus. I do not want to settle down right now. And yet, I guarantee there are people listening who are probably women. Again, I don't want to make generalizations. Who are just like, but if he's acting so nice and in a relationship, that doesn't make sense. Tony, do you see what's the tone zone reaction here?
I mean, I'm so I have so little experience dating. So like I'm terrible with all this stuff. I'm trying to figure it out right now because I've been in a handful of relationships. I've always been like a relationship person that have just sort of spawned out of friendships and then went on for a long time. And then I got divorced right before the pandemic, as regular listeners know. And then, the world shut down and that kind of made it hard to try to date. And I've been trying to now. So like, I'm trying to figure out how to. So I'm going through the other side of that right now of the same thing of like, if somebody's nice, it's like, yeah, okay, are they just a nice person or are they interested or what's I have no skills at interpreting that.
But that is, first of all, I love it inside the tone zone. I think it's beautiful.
It's like Rhode Island. It's a nice place.
It's the opposite of Los Angeles.
The tone zone.
But I think it's also where you're at and how you're meeting people because Arden and I, this is my opinion, are so fortunate to have a group of friends that we're still friends with that are just great, funny weirdos. They're just super ding-dongs, but they're good people. And so when I look back at that, I go, yeah, this has been a consistent relationship where the person at the beginning of that is still the person that they are now. And I think if you're dating, it's very rare that at the beginning of any encounter, you immediately know what the person's like and their quirks and their tastes. So it's that slow bit of knowledge that you're gaining where people, they have all these exits off the highway, and I would just drive very slowly on that highway. And some people I met would be like, "Are we there yet?" And that would freak me out. So I would just bail.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of meeting people and consistency and whatnot, I'm glad you're meeting me now when my hair is looking extra full and lush, because it's a little more full and lush than it may have been if you had met me, say, a couple months ago before I started washing and conditioning my hair with Vegamore and also using their Grow Serum. Vegamore is a transformative 100%. By the way, Rob, I'm the queen of segues. It's a transformative 100% vegan and holistic approach to hair health that leverages smart botanicals clinically proven to promote visibly thicker, fuller, longer-looking hair. Vegamore's Grow Revitalizing Shampoo and Conditioner Kit and Grow Serum work together to create visibly thicker hair and improve your hair from the roots. It's easy to use. Just massage the shampoo into your scalp for 60 seconds and then follow up with the conditioner. For prime results, follow up your wash routine with a daily dropper full of the serum. Apply to your scalp, massage it in and done. It's that fast, just that easy. I really, really like the shampoo and the conditioner and the serum. They have like a sweet citrus smell, and I feel like my hair just looks better. All the products are 100% vegan, cruelty-free, never contain parabens or hormones. My hair is looking thicker and fuller, and I'm getting my confidence back thanks to Vegamore. Try Vegamore risk-free for 90 days. Trust me, you're going to love them. Go to vegamore.com/BFF and use code BFF to save 20% on your first order. That's Vegamore. Now listen to how it's spelled, because it might be different than you're thinking. VEGAMOUR.com/BFF, code BFF to save 20% at vegamore.com/BFF. And I also want to tell you guys about Thrive Cosmetics. I've been talking about Thrive Cosmetics on other podcasts, ones that they weren't even a sponsor on. I am wearing the liquid lash extensions right now, and I'm also holding it up. I used a everyone took a very close gander at my lashes. I used a different brand of mascara. I was very loyal. I used the same one from the time I was like 16. And so this is a big deal that I've completely changed. I'm now on like my 4th tube of it or something. It's a tubing mascara, so it doesn't smudge. It just like kind of it comes off with water. It's really revolutionized my eyes, you guys, and it'll do the same for you. Thrive Cosmetics, and it's not. And I'm also using their eye brightening thing and their lip gloss, and I love all their stuff. It's high performance beauty and skincare that's made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, no parabens, sulfates, or phthalates, certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free. Cause is in the name for a reason. Every purchase supports organizations that help women thrive. Now is a great time to try Thrive Cosmetics for yourself. Right now, you can get 15% off your first order when you visit thrivecosmetics.com/Alison. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS. So thrivecosmetics.com/Alison for 15% off your first order. Okay. A lot of stuff to get to.
Can I just compliment you? Your hair was more up front than I was, because it's clear when
Thank you.
I met your hair and immediately I knew it was silky. It was
thick.
healthy. It was thick. And it said, hello. And
Rob wouldn't have talked to you a couple weeks ago.
Nope.
Thank God your hair is thick now, because Rob would not have talked to you.
yes, forget it, girl.
Love that you are picking up what my hair is laying down. Now,
Hell yes.
Speaking of hair, I need to tell you guys a story about my husband and about hair stuff. And now normally, Rob, you might not know this, but normally my husband is on the podcast, but he couldn't do it today. So Tony, you have to pretend to be Daniel, and you have to, when I ask, you have to guess what okay. So Daniel, when I met, he always had short hair. I didn't even know.
Fuck
That's right. Till well into our relationship. It might not even have been until my children came out of me and I was like, they have curly hair. Or I have naturally curly hair. But what I didn't know is that my husband has very curly hair. But it was always
Like
so
a douche.
short. It was always so short that I had never seen it. Well, in the pandemic, he's decided to find himself hair-wise. So his hair is getting pretty big. And he's always said the thing about my hair is it doesn't grow. This sounds like a spot. It's not. It doesn't grow down. It grows out. So it really does. And he keeps saying to me, like, do I look crazy? And I'm like, you really don't. I like this new hair you. But as part of this, he's been reading up on like how to handle curly hair, and there's a blow dryer involved, and there's a hairbrush and stuff. So he bought himself 2 hairbrushes. And I keep walking into the bathroom, and his hairbrush is on my side of the bathroom. This has been happening, it feels like, for maybe 8 days or maybe even longer. And finally today, it occurred to me, wait a minute. He is putting his hairbrush all the way. What is happening, Tony? Yeah, I have a theory. But what do you think is happening?
This is not normal.
I don't think anything is happening. I think it's just ending up there. And
How? There's only that. I mean, unless one of our children is coming in and moving it, it's just Daniel and me in this bathroom.
But it's just a brush, right?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so I have, let's see, I have 5/8 of the counter, and he has 3/8.
Mm-hmm.
And that brush is usually, I place it in his 3/8, and then it comes back all the way to my side. I'm just going to tell you what everyone.
Think, first of all,
stab.
it's clearly some sort of gang shit, some sort of street stuff. Yes. So you're in danger.
You're in a lot of danger.
This is worse than I thought.
You're in a lot of beautiful hair trouble.
Oh no!
But I think that he is so. This is my honest guess. He is secretly checking his hair out and brushing it and primping in the mirror. And he's so enamored by what he's seeing that he kind of drifts to your side of the bathroom. Yes. And then he's like, oh, shit, I don't want to get caught checking myself out. So he drops the brush and leaves. So he's kind of fascinating himself and forgetting to sort of clean up the crime scene.
I think you might be right.
It's classic Daniel.
That's classic Daniel.
What I think is happening is I think it's been so long since he's had a hairbrush like this that he's forgetting that it's his. So then, wait, but then by my logic, am I suggesting that he's using what he thinks of as my brush every time? I think he's putting what he thinks is my hair tool back on my side. And he's probably like, why does she keep putting her thing over here?
I think he wants to look good for his lady. I think he's like, she's telling me that he's feeling a little vulnerable because it's growing out. Yeah. And I think he's like, but it's not growing down. And you're like, no, I like it. He's like, you do. I feel like if a person who's never paid attention to their hair is now looking at like hair things online, and he's like, is it okay that like, okay, this is out of my comfort zone, but my lady's kind of feeling it. I think he's kind of feeling himself, but a little bit tender. I say just kill him with kindness. Go with the flattery. Tell him how great. Who cares where the hairbrush ends up?
Oh, I do.
If you like it. Does he look good?
It looks good, but I care about preserving my side of the. I mean, this is the kind of fun person I am.
It's a turf war.
It's a turf war.
Totally. I'm going to have to annex.
Don't do it on Valentine's Day.
You're right.
I would say not on Valentine's Day. Do not do it today. On a different day, be like, you look so hot. I am here for your hair journey. Hey, listen, keep it on your side or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you in the desert where Rob Cohen used to be.
Yeah.
Like, you're so hot that like, I love it. But if you put it on my side one more time, that's it. But like, ooh, you are the hot bad boy, but even a hot bad boy can't get away. I'm not here for that because you got me noticing and interested, but I want my space.
Yes.
It's COVID. We're extra weird during COVID. We're a little tender about our areas.
I really want to kick him out of the bathroom entirely because we have another bathroom.
Can you kick yourself out and just go take the other bathroom?
No.
But then that would be like losing.
Better. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not going to seed the bathroom.
You know what I would do is I would take the hairbrush. Bathroom. I'm assuming it has like a flat back to it, right?
Yeah.
So I would either have your kids or you make a bullseye on the back, or you put some lipstick on and kiss the back. So there's a thing, and you say, if your hairbrush is on my side again, I'm going to use it to paddle your man plums into pancakes. And I'm going to hit your nuts right here. And then he'll be so thrown that you've been so aggressive with this brush that he will now want to keep the brush on his side because you've threatened him.
I mean, man plums into pancakes, I will never forget.
Well, I'm coming over to give you that too in 45 minutes. But I think if you sort of jokingly say, if I find your brush on my side again, I'll kill you, he'll appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think he'll respect it.
Here's the risk, though. If I say this, I might receive a list of my infractions in return. Even though we pride ourselves on not keeping track like that, I just suspect it might not come out immediately, but it's opening the door. You know what, though? We got to get it on the table.
This could easily escalate into a line painted down the middle of the house a la the Munsters.
That's true.
You have to be careful not to escalate.
You could also go online, order the biggest oversized comedy hairbrush that you can get, and then you take that and start brushing your hair with it and put it on his side.
That's exactly what you should do.
And then he's like, what is happening? And then he'll be so thrown that you just don't even mention it.
Right.
And you just got to get in this guy's head because I'm so sick of Daniel and his shit.
I know.
So
it's
sick
so
of
Dan. He calls it his last name is Quantz, and it's like, oh, it's the Quantz method. This is the Quantz method for leaving his shit on my side of the bathroom. But you know what? What he's going to come back with is look, you don't get to have luscious, beautiful hair like this without leaving a few strands behind every time you take a shower. Obviously. So I leave it in the shower. And then, quarterly, I decide to toss it in the garbage.
Quarterly.
And so it had been there for a couple days before I noticed. He made a little plaque, like an art installation, and put it under the wad of hair.
Okay.
And it was so funny and so perfect. So I think you're right. He's opened the door for like novelty in the bathroom.
It's the Quantz Quaff. I think the Quantz Quaff is really taking it up a notch. He is feeling himself.
He bought Aveda pomade.
Yeah, he's feeling. I mean, again, I feel like all of it is to please his lady. I think he got some compliments from his lady, and he's gotten all green lights of like, go for it. But the Quantz Quaff is now getting a little cocky.
Yeah,
and he's got to like back up the bus a little bit, and he's better step back, or it's plum pancake time.
Yeah, or you just simply one day you make the brush disappear and you don't mention it, and that way you're not pointing out infractions. But then does he have the balls to say, "Hey, have you seen my brush?" He will have to go get a comb or something else, and if it happens again, then you freak out. But
that's
I think
so good. I didn't even think. I'll just
disappear.
I'll just put it in a drawer.
Hide it.
Ooh, that's good. And here's my other thing. So I was a guest on a podcast recently, a very, very fun podcast. It has and for some reason I'm not going to say the name. Just
Joe Rogan.
He kept saying this certain word. It was weird.
So fun.
No, I was a guest on a podcast that has a following, so I was like stepping into their world, and I really wanted to do a good job on this podcast. I think because because like I like the podcast and stuff, and I feel like I was fine, but afterwards, and it was on Zoom, I have found myself thinking, did I interrupt too much? Did I talk too much? And the funny thing is, I've had people on my show say to me, like, I hope I didn't talk too much. And I'm like, there's literally no such thing. I've been doing this podcast for 600 years. I don't think I've ever walked away from it thinking a guest talked too much. Although I've been the person worried about that. But as a host, I never feel like someone talks too much. But still, I was on this podcast and I'm like, I feel like, what if they were all feeling like, yeah, she's not really fitting in. Like, I don't think she's doing a good job. Or what if I talked too much? Or what if I interrupted too much? Or blah, blah, blah. And so the reality, like, either I was fine or I was good, or yeah, it wasn't my best outing. Like, the reality of it doesn't really matter. It's one podcast and it really doesn't matter. But I find myself thinking, I'm a professional podcaster. I've been doing this for so long. Why am I still hung up over this stuff? So my question for you guys, like Arden, when you do stand up, or Tony, when you play a show, or anyone, any sort of similar thing, do you get in your head about it afterwards, even though it doesn't really ultimately matter?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yes. I wish I didn't. And I look at I really believe, I hate to say, I try not to judge my insides by other people's outsides, but I do look at people and I feel like, oh, they don't still spin out over stuff. Like sometimes I'm like, if I was so-and-so, like at what point would I feel comfortable enough?
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not as bad as it used to be, but for sure. And just hearing you talk, just the thought of going into a new podcast like that, I would be nervous too. Like, I think it's only natural to feel a little tender and to feel to want because then the Zoom is done. You're back in your house where you've been for 2 years. Like, just like there's no like hang by the cooler after. There's no like, hey, okay, cool, thanks so much. Like you're not walking to the parking lot. Like you're just like back thinking, was I too extra with these people that I don't know that well?
Yes.
And like I absolutely would have done the same thing.
Right. Like, why didn't I hang back and like get the flow of it more? Why did I just like come in like on 10 kind of? And I don't know. I do think it is the Zoom of it all because it's so hard to read the like meta communication.
Definitely.
And then even after the pandemic, I mean, I think I'm like that again, pandemic or not. But I think the pandemic has made it weirder because then even live shows like the hang at the green room, like where we've all been around the certain people we've been around during the pandemic. And then you're like back at a live show with people that you knew before, but you don't know that well. And then you're like, hey. And then your interactions feel like stilted and awkward because we've all gotten a little indoor cat, like homeschool kid. And then you feel like a weirdo. So like, if it makes you feel any better, I feel that way in most of my interactions with people I've not been around a lot in the last 2 years.
Me too.
Okay, that does make me feel better.
I went to Trader Joe's last night, and the checkout person asked me if I needed a bag, and she asked me what time it was, and I told her how to build a watch. I just went there. Before I was even done, I said, you were probably looking for a yes-no answer, which seems funny and self-aware, but it's also, I'm actually making it worse because now I'm still talking about it instead of just going, no, thank you, I don't need a bag. And there's just no way out of it. You just keep digging, and you just keep getting deeper, and you can just think, I don't know how to be around people anymore.
Yeah.
Not a terrible thing.
No.
Tony, Tony, for anyone who doesn't know, Tony plays drums in Motion City Soundtrack, and he has a gold record, and I like to give him shit that it's not real, but it actually is real.
Wow.
So you play like huge shows. Afterwards, do you run replay it in your head at all?
No, not with shows. Like, I feel like that's different because, like, that's where I'm like the most comfortable I ever am in life, and it's just playing drums. So it's like these songs have these drum parts. I know how to play them. Here they are. Play the show. Fun.
More binary.
Done. But like every other interaction in my life is just constantly overthought, and it's just constant overthinking in my head at all times. So. Yeah, come back like what Arden was saying about the pandemic and all that. Yeah, throw all of this together, and then with what I was saying earlier about trying to now understand how to date, it's not a ideal combo.
I think we've all been like astronauts have been out in space and then isolated and then have to like re-enter the atmosphere. And even though it's nice to come back to Earth, we've all changed a little, and we've gotten used to our little space pods and our routines. And then like
our freeze-dried food.
Yeah. And some people, like I have some people that I know in my life that literally never, like the pandemic didn't really slow them down at all, and they're kind of treat you like, wait, what? Like, oh yeah, that. Like I assume they've had COVID 18,000. You know what I mean?
They've had all the variants.
Yeah. Like I know some people that just are like, yeah, I go eat indoors, and I have been for like 18 months. Like, oh, okay.
I can always get a table.
Yeah, I'm not that person, but I do know people. Like, there's a whole spectrum of us, and like how some people are like, literally look at you, and you're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, that it slowed me down for like 6 weeks. Like but it has been, if you already if you tend towards a little bit of anxiety anyway, or self-consciousness, I think it gets amplified. Which is actually where I try to get myself out of my comfort zone on a regular basis, just to reacclimate a little bit. I think it's important to like Rob knew my dad, and my dad was the example of a person who just basically withdraws from society, which is makes sort of an entertaining character, but like a real Boo Radley of a guy. People need to be socialized. It's not great for the psyche over time. So I've been trying to sort of like do things a little bit out of my comfort zone on a regular basis to like get back in the world.
But
When I was going to say, when I think of your dad, the main thing I think about is leaving a birthday cake like on the top of the refrigerator for months.
Oh, there's exactly. And you can get away with that when you've left society. There's so many quirks.
But he also, to his credit, and I only encountered him in certain times, he was so charming, and his quirks were a plus. But I totally know what you're saying as far as it being a day-to-day thing, especially as a kid.
He was a funny character, a terrible parent.
Yes.
My brother and I were like, I think he was great if he was like your like neighbor or like the fun.
Yeah.
You don't want to be raised by him, but he was an entertaining character.
100%.
But you could see but he wasn't happy. Like that's, I think, not like when you're not socialized. I think his soul was tortured by not. I think the few times he actually would go to work and be around people were his happiest times, even though he had to like gear up for it. I think we need to deal with other people. Like he himself was tortured when he wasn't with people.
Yeah, see, I feel like that is a little bit of a curse of like the Rosen, like me, my parents, my sister, maybe not my sister as much, but I feel like all of us, it's so intense and jarring to be around other people that we have this this desire to recede from people and potentially like become recluses.
But your podcast like is so the opposite of that. Which
I know,
is
it's
fascinating.
ironic. Yeah, I know, it's weird. It's like I do need it. But I think I do best with it when is in a structure of a show.
But you've created a way to have intimacy. Maybe this is the safest way, and like to give yourself, maybe maybe this is you've built yourself the machine to give yourself what you need.
That being said, I was looking at a friend of mine down in Orange County who I haven't talked to in a little while. It was her birthday, and I was looking at her, like what it looked like she did for her birthday, and she had some celebrations. And in one of them, I was like, are they in a cabin? And it was just like a bunch of women potentially in a cabin, some kind of wood paneled staircase that I did not recognize. And I was like, oh man, going away with girlfriends to a cabin, like that sounds so much fun. I could like taste how bad I want to do that right now.
Oh,
yeah.
So you'll do it.
That.
Yeah, but you'll get to do it. It's just I was having this conversation with a friend of mine back in Canada, and they could not embrace the fact that it is a global pandemic. They kept sort of feeling like they were being punished, and I kept saying, it's the entire planet is affected by this. Yeah. So everybody's plans have been screwed up, and everybody is having to be smart. And this dipshit couldn't. They're like, yeah, but I wanted to do this. It's like. Yes, I understand. And there are people, we all wanted to do stuff, and there are entire countries that, have been locked down. And then he's like, yeah, I know. And they just will never understand the situation. So the flip side is, that when things are better, you can go with your girlfriends to a cabin, or people can travel. But this is the sort of, especially the last year, people just had to suck it up and decide what's the most comfortable way for them to deal with things. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. They just have to shut the fuck up and just accept what's happening. It's like me on a date. It's like, this is what's happening. Yeah. It's a scientific process. I'm going to deal with it.
You know what I recommend over dealing with dip? I'm trying to come up with a...
Oh, sorry. Is swearing a bad thing?
Oh, no. Swearing is fine, except... when I'm telling you guys about something I think you should know about, then I think I'm not supposed to swear. But otherwise, it's open season for swears. Did you say dipscat?
Dipscat or dipscoot.
Yeah, you know what's better than dealing with a dipscoot is playing Switchcraft, which is a really fun match 3 game. So match 3 games can be a lot of fun, but it seems like most of them are the same. The themes and characters change, but overall it's the same boring format until now. Switchcraft is a brand new take on match 3 games. As you play, you unlock pieces of a beautiful, magical, and gripping graphic novel. It's about like witches and wizards and whatnot who go to this academy, the Switchcraft Academy. And so you get drawn into the story, and then periodically to get to different levels and things, there's a match 3 game. I found it really compelling and like elegant and fun how it was put together. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I don't play a ton of games like this, but I have match 3 games are the ones that I have played before. And this is like a whole new take on it. So in Switchcraft, you take on the role of a witch at Pendle Hill. Oh, I said Switchcraft was the name of the academy. I stand corrected. Pendle Hill is the world's top academy of witchcraft. Play your way through hundreds of enchanting match 3 levels, revealing a dark and winding mystery story. Download Switchcraft for free and unlock the magical mystery. Again, download Switchcraft for free and unlock the magical mystery. Okay, I think it is time for us to say hello and welcome and thank you to new patrons.
Alison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there who signed up to be new patrons. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen.
Patreon. Hello and welcome, Rhonda. Hello to Kim Caffey. She converted to an annual pledge. And hello and welcome to Joanna Bain, who increased her pledge. She is now at the texting level. We have already texted. Texts have flown between us. And by the way, I realized that I've been saying like the texting level, but not saying what the level is. And it might make you guys think it's like 1,000. It's the $10 level is the texting level.
Wow.
That's right. I'm giving it away. So anyway, yeah, join my Patreon. It is super fun. Okay. So Arden, you have been not feeling well. Yes.
Truth. Preach.
Tell us what happened. I know a little bit, but I need more details unless it's going to make you feel icky.
No, I just give the listeners the room to, I went out for dinner Friday night and then Saturday morning, I woke up early. I was supposed to go play tennis and I did not feel good. And I basically had food poisoning and I threw up all day Saturday. Oh, and I have basically, this is, and so I've been on my floor or the couch or in my bed pretty much since like Friday night. I was spent Saturday on the floor in the bathroom throwing up, and then all I've eaten is apples. That's all I want to eat is apples. And I put on a dress and some lipstick for you guys, and just to get upright and trick myself.
I mean, you're doing a great job.
You look
Thank
beautiful.
You. Oh, thank you, Rob. Thank you.
You do. You have like an apple-y sort of glow to you.
You look cleansed. You've detoxed. And
I've detoxed. I got to tell you, it's jarring. I mean, I feel like when you're a little kid, you throw up a lot. It's been a minute for me. It is an alarming, violent, fast. Violent and fast.
Brutal.
It was. And I had on my little Compton sweatshirt. I just needed to be in comfort that had like the strings. And I was like, I love that sweatshirt. I was I can't throw up on the strings, like trying to get the hair back. It's been a journey. I lost 2 pounds this weekend because there's no moisture in my body. I couldn't keep down water. All I can drink is LaCroix.
Oh, God.
It's the closest to ginger ale. And I'm hoping that I haven't thrown up since Saturday, but it's nothing but apples over here.
Now, did you worry that it was COVID? It doesn't sound like it.
I took 18,000 COVID tests. I'm a psychopath. I don't think I have been such a weird indoor cat. It would have been hard for me to get COVID. The dinner was outdoors. I've been living my life outdoors, and I pretty much hang out with people like that. So it would have been a very airborne outdoor thing. But trust me, I've taken 58,000 COVID tests, and of course I worried it was COVID. I worry everything is COVID.
Yeah, same.
But no, I kept thinking the particular item of food from Friday night, and I'm pretty sure. I feel like when it's a food poisoning, and
do.
you know when it's like a norovirus. Like when a specific item at a restaurant is taking you down.
Yes.
And needs to get out.
What was it?
It was a salad. It was strangely, I had fish and salad. You'd think it would be the fish. I couldn't stop thinking about that salad. There was a pickle onion, and I thought they didn't clean their knives. That's what
Salad.
That's right.
That is Robin Shore reprising her, what was it, Golden Corral?
I want a salad.
No.
A taco salad.
No.
Burger. Salad.
Wow.
That's amazing. So yeah, it was a salad.
We also have a drop, which I think we could use to commemorate. Now, it hasn't been a whole week of Arden feeling sick.
No.
But still, it's been a almost week-long chunk of time of you feeling sick. So
Yeah.
I think we should hear that.
Arden week.
We played that. There was a week where you were on the Monday show and on the Thursday show. Rob,
Wow.
I have more. I have a question for you. I have two
Yeah.
questions for you.
Yeah.
So before we started, Arden was saying that she was watching your show, and I was like, "Ooh, what show is it?" And then I realized from listening, it's a show that is like at the top of my list to watch. It's the
It's
new
so
Bridget
good.
Everett show. What do you do on that show?
Well, it is not my show. It's called Somebody Somewhere, and I directed 4 of the 7, so it is definitely not my show. I was just a small part of it. But it's
so
You're being
good.
humble.
it's all
so
Bridget and Jeff and the cast and Paul and Hannah who created it, and all the credit goes to them. It is absolutely not me.
Where did you film that?
Illinois, rural Illinois.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so thrilled for Bridget because she deserves it and she's so talented. But it really was this amazing group of people that did the show, in very weird COVID protocols in very rural Illinois. So I'm glad people like it, but it is their show.
And it's about a woman who moves back to her hometown after her sister dies.
Yeah, it's based on Bridget's real life.
Oh.
So she grew up in this tiny town called Manhattan, Kansas. And unfortunately, her sister got sick and Bridget moved home and her sister passed away. And it was a time in Bridget's life when she just couldn't get out of her own way and stayed there. And she was literally had no momentum in any part of her life. So she and Hannah and Paul and Carolyn Strauss created this show. And the reason I think it connects with people is because Bridget's tapping into what really happened, but she's just so naturally charming and good. So she's incredible.
She and Jeff together. I've never seen him before. He is so charming.
He's amazing.
I think the woman who plays her other sister is so good.
Yeah, Mary Catherine.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like just being on the fringe of that was so enjoyable because they're all so nice, but it's just a very lo-fi, organic, cool show. So it's all hail them, not me.
I need to watch it because we need a show because we finished Yellow Jackets. I don't know if you guys
I've
watched
just
that.
started that.
It's-
Pam and Tommy is really fun.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
I've
is
been
fun.
watching. Okay, so I've been watching. We're all caught up on Pam and Tommy. I'm
too.
surprised I'm into it.
I
but
love it.
I'm almost afraid to say anything about it on social media because I feel like there's a part of it that's like we're not supposed to watch it because it's re-traumatizing. I feel like I read an article. I read a headline of an article that I think was suggesting that because Pam didn't consent to the series, that's like it's like you're a bad feminist if you're watching it or something. That being said, it's very sympathetic. I mean, it really makes the point that she did not agree to this tape being out there, and it really wasn't right.
I think people have an issue in a big way with the fact that they recreated some of the sex tape. I think they feel like they didn't need to actually show that part of it, so that in that area. But I will say, which I can see their point, because it did make, because I've never seen the tape, and it did make me go, oh, is that like it did make me wonder about the tape. I'm sure there's been more interest, so I can see how it is sort of re-traumatizing her. I would say I feel watching it, it's sort of how I felt, you know, again, when you hear like how they're reframing Monica Lewinsky, you know, like all of like, oh, like this poor woman. And you can also see, even though Tommy Lee is terrifying in it, like how he was sort of sweet with her, and what, like, she got caught up in it, and how they did sort of belittle her on Baywatch, and how she was trying to be taken seriously. And like, I think she comes off, you have so much compassion for this woman who's treated like an object, who seems so sweet, and, you know, but I can see the point of, I think people are I might be wrong. I don't know if maybe we read different things, but it seemed like the part they were mad at was that they recreated the porn, and that they may not have needed to do that.
Well, if you read beyond a headline, then you read more of it than me. And I'm not in no shade to the article. It's just my attention span these days.
Sure.
I've got enough time for like a tweet length thing, and that's about it. Sebastian Stan and Lily James are so good.
Oh
They're
my
so
God.
good in it.
I don't know Marvel movies. Like, he's so good. I'm like, who is this guy? And she's great. My friend David did all the makeup.
Oh, how cool.
So he was the one operating the robotic penis. Like, I think it's really fun. And it does. It makes you go, oh my God, like, you know, it's the same guy that made I, Tonya. Like, it is framing it in a way that's like, this poor woman. And of course her life was the one, like, and she became a laughing stock, and that of course it was okay for Tommy in some ways, like that she was the one who really,
right, it didn't affect them the same.
It's I think they've done it. I've been enjoying it, but I'm you know.
Tony, how do you feel about Tommy Lee as a drummer?
He's a good drummer. I'm not really a Motley Crue guy. Never really was, but he is definitely a good drummer. There are some specific things of his that I enjoy, but yeah, I've always thought he seemed like a big dope that plays drums well.
Jeff, did you meet him when he came on the Adam Carolla show?
I don't remember. I think I did, but I really don't remember.
Yeah, he's very charming in person.
I'm sure.
Which you see in the actually, he comes off quite poorly in
terrifying,
the movie, which I think is
terrifying.
Seems fairly true to life. I didn't know his whole story, so I was just like, yeah, he's surprisingly charming. And then Daniel was like, there's a lot there, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I read up, and now I'm getting a re-education on this show.
Tony, I have two drummers that I love in my life.
Who's that?
Patty Shimmel from Hole is my friend, and Josh Dunn from 21 Pilots.
Okay. I know of them. I'm not super familiar with 21 Pilots. I don't think I've ever met him or anything.
He's great. He's married to my friend Debbie Ryan, and he does a thing where they built him a platform where he stage dives with his drum kit. You should watch it. And then he literally surfs the crowd and does a full drum. It's only a 2-person band, 21 Pilots. It's he and the lead singer. And he surfs like
so he
stadiums.
abandons her with his drums and goes into the audience.
Well, the lead singer's a guy, and he surfs like they pass him around.
Wow.
And he surfs. It's amazing. He's amazing.
Crazy.
You
Yeah, I
should
can't
look it
even
up.
picture that. I
It's
need to
so
look that up.
cool.
Weird.
Yeah.
What's Patty Shimmel do nowadays?
She's rad. She does a lot of like spoken word things for the Moth, and like she still drums. She'll still like play with other bands, and she's just hilarious. She's a memoir that I'm about to read that I just got. She's so awesome. I mean, Celebrity Skin was like revolutionary.
Yeah. Hole featured fairly prominently in Yellow Jackets.
Oh my God. I just started Yellow Jackets, but then I got sidetracked by Pam and Tommy, but I'm going to come back to Yellow Jackets with Hole.
And then my other thing for Rob, is it true that you didn't realize that you were you married Janine Garofalo as a goof, but then didn't realize you were still married to her for years?
No. The short version is Janine and I dated when we were both working on the Ben Stiller show. We went out for a year, and during that year, we went to Vegas with another writer and his girlfriend, and had some beverages. I thought it would be hilarious to go get married at one of those drive-through chapels, but because we gave all this false information and we were just doing it for the physical goofiness of it, she started to say we weren't legally married, but she would say in her act or in interviews that we were married because she thought it was funny, and she also knew it made me a little nuts. And then it just sort of, whatever tiny momentum it had at the time, it seems like the internet makes it appear like we were actually married. So the end of that is, which we never were, and we're still great friends. But when there was a reunion of the Ben Stiller show in New York, I think 10 years ago, we went to a TD Bank that had a notary in it and had to write up paperwork declaring that we were never married and get it notarized because some people in my life at that point were assuming we were married. So
Your wife?
No, but somebody related closely to her.
Her mom.
Yeah. So I had to get legal documentation that it was never the case. And so thank you, TD Bank at the corner of 56th and whatever. But yeah, she's great. But it was a joke that it sort of got away from us.
TD Bank for all of your banking and polygamy needs.
Yeah, TD Bank. Yep.
So,
the D is for divorce.
What was it? Why was it not legal in the first place?
Because we'd put all this phony information down, and I know because I had multiple lawyers check into it when I was panicking about it. So the people that are married on those documents don't exist. Like I was a 52-year-old tractor salesman from Iowa, and she was somebody else, and so since those people don't exist, they couldn't get married, and since we are not those people, it wasn't legit. But it was a terrifying few days when I thought that we were married.
Got it.
It was stupid.
It's a similar plot to, I don't know how you feel about Friends, but
never seen one episode of Friends.
Really?
Never.
Oh my God.
No.
Thanks,
Tony.
I don't like the way, like the the most basic of bitches out there probably loves Friends and quotes it all the time because I'm like a special esoteric person, but I also love Friends. So I will defend it, but I could be talked out of that position as well.
I wish I'd seen it. I've never seen an episode of Seinfeld either. So
what?
Yeah. I'm a horrible person.
Are you like trying to not watch the competition's comedy?
No, I just never got around to it when it was a phenomenon. Is it like how
I've never seen Top Gun?
Oh, well, that's ridiculous.
Like I've never seen Top Gun either.
Have you seen Top Chef?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
It's not.
Yeah.
What? You never seen Calicchio?
Oh,
He's
my
the best.
God. Come on, Tony.
We should watch Top Gun and then like do a Patreon about it.
Yeah.
Take my breath away.
Yeah, that's about the only way I would do it. I like literally have just never had any desire
You
to
gotta
see
see the Val Kilmer volleyball scene.
100%.
I mean, I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never like seen the entire movie.
It's
a good movie.
I've seen the Playing with the Boys video.
Yeah. It's a great movie, and you got to remember it was made in the mid 80s and the US was in a different position, but it actually is a good action movie. It's
a fun movie.
Yeah.
All right. I'll check it out.
But even still, do you think it's one of those, though, that if you were to watch it for the first time now?
I'd love it. I love 80s movies.
Yeah.
I do, too.
Trash.
But a lot of them, if you didn't grow up watching them and then you try to watch it for the first time now,
I think it's going to still be good. I think you're going to love it. I think it's. I would put my money that it's still great. Right. Tom Cruise is an action star. That man is a fucking machine.
Yep.
It's classic Cruise.
Yep.
I just remembered that Arden's been on Friends. How do you feel about your friend not watching your oeuvre?
So offended. Can you see how enraged I am?
But I will say, in my own defense, I've seen every episode of Working. So
there you go.
Who could say that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Thank
Nobody.
You.
It's a good thing Arden's weakened by her stomach bug, or else she'd be.
Yeah. Good thing I'm delirious. I have no iron or protein in my body. It's just apples.
Yeah, it'd be like a talented bobcat descending upon me with her talent claws.
No, but now I'm just fueled by apples.
Ah, thank you.
Like green or red? What are we talking?
Honey
I'm picturing
Crisp.
red.
Yeah.
Oh,
Honey Crisp. Or a pink lady.
Oh.
Both all chilled. in the refrigerator.
Yes,
That's
Gotta
how
be
I like
cold.
it too.
Gotta be chilled.
Warm apples are bullshit.
I need a cold apple and a LaCroix, and that's literally all I've had since Saturday morning, and that's what I'm sticking to.
You guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you, Arden. Thank you for pulling yourself off the tile.
Heck yeah! Look at me.
No one would know you were sick if I didn't make you talk about it. Rob, it has been so nice getting to know you.
Oh,
Tony,
thank you.
it's Ben and Jeff. Wonderful.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to meet you guys.
Yeah, you too.
If you like what you're hearing, please make sure, even if you don't, make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a nice comment on Apple Podcasts. You can rate us on any, I think now wherever you listen, there's a way you can rate, possibly a way you can leave a review, but I know you can do it on Apple Podcasts, and that helps out the show. So please keep those reviews coming. Tell your friends, listen to my other shows. Follow me on social media at Alison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. Arden, where can everyone find you? And please plug anything you would like to plug.
Well, thank you so much. They can find me on, I like Instagram the best, but I'm also on Twitter. It's at Arden Myrin, Myrin is my last name. And I have 2 podcasts that are both on iHeart, but they're available anywhere you get your podcast. One is a Bachelor-themed comedy podcast that Miss Alison has been on called Will You Accept This Rose? And then I have a brand new one that came out just last week. It's called Lady of the Road. It's with Julianne Robinson, who is the director of Bridgerton and the executive producer of Bridgerton. And we talk to women we admire and sort of get like life tips from them. And our first guest was Joan Jett, who was amazing.
Whoa.
Nice.
Right?
That's amazing.
It was amazing. I literally had to, my entire inner monologue, if you listen, is just like, speaking to you, Alison, of like how you felt at the show. On my own show, the whole inner monologue was like, just be cool, Arden. Just don't be you. Just don't say anything. Just don't be you. Don't talk. It's fucking Joan Jett. Just lower your voice. Don't be you. Be cool. Like, I've never felt more basic or hyper, you know?
You're telling me you didn't feel that way around Wayne Knight back in the day?
I did feel that way when he was Mr. Moneybags.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Rob, what about you? I mean, obviously everyone should go subscribe to Bad Dates podcast.
Yeah.
You're very kind. Yes. I would say it's just 2 things. It's the Bad Dates show.
And I've been saying it wrong. But
That's okay.
You get the gist.
That's okay. And then if somebody really wants to watch something stupid, the second season of Hanging with Dr. Z starring Dana Gould started today, so they can just look up Hanging with Dr. Z on YouTube. But
I just got a press release about it today.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, there goes my $10,000. But that's it. It was such a delight to meet you guys, and good luck with the hairbrush.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I need to know what happens with the hairbrush.
I will give everyone an update. Do you want to, Rob, give out your social media handles?
I don't think they're going to get anybody excited. So
do the Bad Dates one. You have a Bad Dates Instagram.
The Bad Dates show on Instagram.
Okay, wonderful.
And Twitter.
On Twitter, yes, Jeff.
And Tony, I hope you know when I said, and Tony, it's Ben, I was just being silly. It's been wonderful. Thank you for spending your day off with us.
We'll talk after the show.
And Alison, I think for your fans, the last thing I would say is if you could go into the bathroom and sneak a photo of the hairbrush in its current wrong place, then move it, take a photo of it in the right place, and then start to keep a secret photo log of it traversing the bathroom.
That's smart.
When you and the husband have a big fight, you go,
then I've got
asshole, and
evidence.
just start flipping through these photos. It's like, is there a fucking poltergeist in this brush? And then you just start going back and forth.
Yes.
But I think your listeners would enjoy seeing the hairbrush in the good spot in the bad
You
spot.
could say a man who tortured a lot of ladies in the early aughts with his inability to commit told me to photograph this.
That I couldn't. What a perfect ending.
I mean, if I have to do that, then I have to reveal how messy our counter is. But then people will understand even more so why I don't want an extra hairbrush in my space.
Just go tight on the brush.
I need the photo evidence.
Okay, this is a good idea.
Maybe
and
he's
Tony,
doing this to give you something, he knows you're going to talk about it on the show.
That's
Give
right.
me something
He's
to talk
giving me
about.
content.
Yeah.
I love it. No, this is good. This is going to give the next couple months of my life meaning, and I need.
So I know your hair does look thick.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It does look. Your hair is looking really nice and shiny and thick.
Thank you, Tony. Where can we find you?
Twitter and Instagram at Tony Thaxton. I'm not doing the drops today, so no jingle there.
Tony Thaxton.
And my podcast Bizarre Albums every Tuesday. And you can also usually hear me twice a week as the on-air producer on the Alison Rosen Is Your New Best Friend show.
I love that show.
It's
It's a good one.
yeah, it's all right. The host, not always my cup of tea.
She
but,
a
you know.
nightmare. She must be a nightmare to work with.
Well, you should have heard what she said to me earlier today.
And you'll be back in the driver's seat next week, and we have the Doughboys on.
Yeah,
I love them.
They are the best.
me too.
And Jeff, what about you?
You can find me on social media at Colonel Jeff Fox and my brand new cat, hopefully Big Louie the Cat, on Instagram and Twitter by the time this episode airs. He is a knucklebutt.
He is so cute. I cannot wait.
He's so cute. He's ridiculous.
He can't be contained by normal media. I have to let him out on social media.
You did try normal media. You sent us a cat calendar.
I got a cat calendar.
Yeah, me too. Lovely.
That's true.
I feel like him being on Instagram is just an excuse for me to kind of ease up on texting 100 pictures a day to all my friends, mailing them calendars. So
I love this.
you're welcome.
You guys, thank you so much. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Alison Rosen is your new best friend.